Hey everyone, Value Add Mike here today to discuss how to use Asana as a CRM for brokers. So for those who don't know, my name is Value Add Mike Taravella, and I've closed and built a portfolio of $65 million in commercial real estate, specifically in multifamily. And today I wanted to show you kind of behind the scenes and how I use Asana as a CRM to get deal flow. And so we're going to hop into Asana right now. So this is a brand new project for multifamily. So we're going to call it the broker list. I like to do it as a list when it comes to this. So this is Asana. Asana is a project management tool, very powerful system that I love to use. So I use this to build a list for my broker list. And so anytime I crack into a new market or look into a new market, we're going to call this one Tacoma, Washington. The first thing I do is look on LoopNet. And now I'm not looking at LoopNet to necessarily find deals. I'm looking for LoopNet to find brokers in that area. And so handy dandy LoopNet picked Tacoma. I don't know why. It just sounded like a good city that I'm unfamiliar with. And then I really focus in on my particular criteria. So Tacoma, multifamily. If you have number of units, we'll say 10 plus units, click search. And then that reduces the listings to only a few. But when clicking through these listings, the biggest thing is the brokers. So you can see here you have Chad, Mitchell, Steven. And so what I do is I go in Asana. So we'll move this to the side. And we'll go back to Asana. And we'll add all of the brokers in here. So Chad, we'll say Chad Blends. And so when I pull this up, so here's Chad. What I like to do is, let's see if there are contact information. Here's Chad's phone number. So 206 491 2008. And then I always like to put a listing of he did here in the comments, so then I can quickly pull this up, because when I'm calling brokers, I generally go through and build a database and then call brokers and ask for deals and opportunities and showcase who I am. But right now we're just fact checking and going through. But the biggest thing with Asana is that you have to have one assignee and one due date. And so it's super important when I do this. Obviously I'm the only person on this, but I think the biggest thing when I was first using Asana was I would choose this due date here. Let's pick today and pick the set to repeat. And I usually like to call my brokers every 21 days because there's a lot more listing, or could be more opportunities, but it sounds a little bit better than once a month. And there could be in multifamily, there's a lot of moving parts. But the problem is if you click this and notice this LoopNet listings here, now that I click done, it'll refresh with a new Asana task, but that listing has gone away. So when you're looking at Asana as a CRM, do not have your due date be the parent. Just have you as the assignee and have a subtask to call that broker. And so I always like to do it periodically. So set to repeat 21 days. And then make sure you assign it to yourself, because then you get your notifications and you can see that in your My Tasks to call. And so when you're looking at this really allows you to build out your broker list and to quickly call. And also it organizes it all in one place. So you know that you need to call Chad, and you can click this link, see the parent task, and go, okay, I need to call Chad today. His listing is here, and I'll put that in the comments. And so every 3 weeks when I call Chad, I can say left voicemail, and then, okay, October 10th, called him again, Another voicemail. And then it repeats. So as you can see, it's every 21 days from when it repeats, but because we're doing the same day it's going through. But this allows me to see how many times I've called Chad, what we've talked about, and this really allows you to showcase your notes so you can bring them up on the next call. So when you have that LoopNet deal here, you can talk to him and the other brokers and be like, yeah, we offered on this place, or if there's specific notes about it, you can add them here. But it's super important that you have it all organized. And I love Asana because the web platform, or what you're seeing here on the web, is very similar to the mobile. And you can invite a lot of your team members. You can have up to 15 members in a team. So if you have an analyst, an acquisitions person, yourself, your other principals, and you can really see what is getting done and all the notes being left behind. So one thing I do want to hit on is that Asana is not a texting platform. It's not a calling platform. It is not the best CRM, but it is really good at I like using Asana for the broker list, is because in another video, I'll show you how I organize my deal flow, and I tie the two by tagging brokers from the broker list to the deal list so that I can see what brokers are getting what deals. So it's super important that you organize and use one tool to do a lot of your work. So I use Asana for my acquisitions. I use it for my deals. I use it for a lot of stuff. It is an imperfect CRM. It does not do a lot of the bells and whistles, but for me, I make it work for my team. And when it comes to building a system, just find a way that works for you and your team. It doesn't matter if it's Monday.com. It doesn't matter if it's ClickUp, but whatever works for you and your team, just stick to it. And if you have any other questions about Asana, leave them in the comments. Please subscribe. If you got any value from this, please subscribe to the channel. And until then, we will see you next time.